If you're riding your e-bike on the road, and there's a good chance that you are, wouldn't it be awesome to have a horn and turn signals? The good news is there are plenty of options out there, and they take just a few minutes to install. I purchased both of these. This is a small horn and a brake light with turn signals on Amazon. I'll put links down in the description. And once again, this is another video sponsored by me, Bolton e-bikes. So I am going to tell you a little bit about the Bolton e-bikes hydraulic caliper, but more on that later. When you're on the road, I think communication is key. Letting drivers know which way you're going, whether you're turning left, you're turning right. Now, of course, we have hand signals that we could use while riding, but my experience has been that most drivers don't actually know what those mean anymore. And sometimes you have an emergency where somebody is either about to cut you off or perhaps turn in front of you, and having something like a horn is a good way to communicate that they need to stop or look in your direction, and hopefully it can be a means of avoiding an accident. I used to have a very loud horn on one of my bikes, and although I rarely used it, in the few circumstances where it was needed, I was glad that I had it. The downsides to that horn were that it was big, it was bulky, I had to splice in some wiring to my battery power to get it to work, and it's not something everybody's gonna wanna do to their e-bike. So this is the horn I bought on Amazon, and it looks like I can probably install this in about 5 seconds. So let's find out. There's this little rubber loop to go around the handlebars, and then there is this button, and that's all there is to it. So there's a power button right here. That was kind of loud. So you have two buttons you can press right here. There's the bell sound, and then you also have this one where you can change the tone that it uses. You probably can't tell by the video, but that sound is really obnoxious. If that doesn't get somebody's attention, I'm not sure what will. That's even more obnoxious. That's like an ear-piercingly loud, high-pitched noise. And that's a very friendly little bell. And then there's a minus and a plus right here, so you can turn the volume up or down. So maximum volume. Oh, the bell's actually quite pleasant. The horn is a horn. It's kind of annoying, but it's like that's what you want to use to get somebody's attention. The bell is really nice. That noise is just awful in a terribly good way, because no one would be able to not look at that sound. So there you have it, super easy to install. It has a USB cable that comes with it for charging. There's a port right on the side, which is pretty handy because you can either plug this in when you're charging your battery for the day, or if it happens to die while you're out riding, most bikes do have a USB port nowadays, so you could plug it into either your battery or your display to top it off if you needed to. Our second accessory is the brake light and tail light. It's pretty fancy for nighttime. It also has lasers. I have used one of these taillights with lasers before, not the specific one, but a different one. My experience was that it looks really cool at night if it's super dark, but if there's any street lights or ambient lighting, you really can't see those on the ground. So more gimmicky than useful, but the taillight itself with the braking and turn signals is what I really want to show off on this, assuming it works as advertised. For control, there is this small wireless remote, which is pretty cool because it just has a little rubber band, just like the bell horn thing that we attached earlier. So really easy to put it on, and you don't have to run wires back to the actual tail light. Also USB rechargeable. Comes with two different mounts. This one for going around a seat post, and then this one is designed to mount underneath the saddle on the rails. There's the USB port down under the bottom for charging. There is one adjustment on the side so you can have it angled back towards traffic. Well, it turns out I need to read directions just like everyone else. I was pressing the button on the side. I couldn't get the light to turn on, and I thought, well, maybe it just needs to be charged up because it is brand new. I assume it's not shipped with a full charge. I walked inside, and then suddenly Suddenly, there we go. Suddenly, the light turned on. I walked back outside and it turned off again. Well, it turns out there is a photo sensor on the bottom of this, and the way it is set up by default is to only run when it's dark, which is great if you're just using this for a nighttime running light, but I wanted to use it in the daytime as a turn signal. So it even says in the directions to put a piece of tape over the sensor if you want to use it during the day. That's a little sensor right there. Problem solved. Now we can test out the functions of the tail light. So this is what it looks like just on. Both the top red bar and the indicators are on. If we turn the left signal on, it looks like this. So the top bar moves to the left and then the little yellow light flashes. There is a button, kind of hard to see, in the middle you can press as well. So you can get different flashing modes. And of course there are the lasers I mentioned, which probably won't be able to see on the ground. Yeah, just like I thought, you can't really see those at all, only at night in the darkest of circumstances. If I put my hand right up underneath it, you can see that the laser is in fact there. I believe it's also supposed to have a brake function so that it senses when you're slowing down and turns the brake light on. I'm getting somewhat mixed results on getting that to work. No one paid me to make this video. I bought both of these on Amazon. There are links in the description. But if you'd like to further support Bolton e-bikes and you need better brakes for your e-bike, don't forget to check out the Juintech hydraulic brake calipers. These are a hybrid brake, so you leave your standard brake levers, your mechanical lines, the steel lines that go all the way back to the calipers in place. You don't have to change any of that. Your brake switches stay where they're at and continue to work. These are a very simple way to upgrade your stock brakes if you have some very simple mechanical brakes on your electric bike right now. I have a full video on how to install these, what they actually do over here.